Today I'll share with you things that helped me to get knowledge and bunch of Microsoft certificates through the years. Nobody gave me any particular guidance, so you'll find out what worked and what didn't in my case, so you won't make the same mistakes. Welcome to MacDrive, a podcast where I want you to get as much value as possible. During my years of working within the IT world and enterprise resource planning systems, I noticed that this area seemed to be unknown and overwhelming for most people. I consider myself lucky to meet great mentors who taught me how to grow a satisfying career in this field. Also, I was able to build it with no degree in IT. I've graduated as a social worker, and I truly believe anybody can learn what an ERP is and grow that knowledge to the point of getting a fun and well-paid job. Dial in if you want to get more understanding of what these systems bring to the business world, or you'd like to get more information on what possibilities and value this particular area of IT can bring to you. I remember my first Dynamics AX 2012 exam. My first attempt was in a topic called Implementing Dynamics Applications or something like that. Basically, mostly project management / implementation cycle related topics. There wasn't any class for that. Only one big fat ebook that my boss at the time shared with me. Back then, to my young, innocent junior brain, this exam felt like a massive deal. I had to schedule it in Microsoft certified facility, sign some seriously looking papers, and what freaked me out the most, I had to pay for it. Like $150. Thankfully, the first attempt was sponsored by the company I worked for, but if I failed, I had to pay for any next attempt. Now, speaking with my dear teammates didn't help when I've heard stuff like, certification exam? Good luck. It's impossible. Or, yeah, back in the days, they were achievable, but now it's just complete garbage. And I remember somebody said like, yeah, I've heard even Microsoft employees can't pass them. So yeah, the day came. I drove to the training facility with anxiety and caffeine boiling in my veins, looking at all these annoyingly relaxed people around that enjoyed cookies and juice in the lobby. Turned out they're taking different exams at the same time. Well, fair enough. Maybe the stuff that they're passing isn't as hard as mine. Of course it's not, because they're not shaking their pants like I do. Alright, I've entered the room with multiple PCs, sit on my desk, logged in, confirmed some additional disclosures, agreements, and finally, the test has started. With the words of my mentor floating in my head, I proceeded. And these words were, don't stop on any question. Take your first guess since there's 90% chance it's the first right answer. Okay, all questions done. Are you sure to end the exam? The screen asked. You won't be able to return. The big red letters shouted at me. Yeah, thank you very much. That's exactly what I needed. I confirmed. Your score? 78%. Congrats, you passed. And that was it. One of the fastest 20 minutes in my life. My first certificate achieved. And now, the reason why I'm telling you this story is, besides from showing that these exams are not that scary as they seem, the reason is this one thing I didn't mention before. And this thing is, I didn't know exactly why I was passing this exam. I mean, of course, I assumed there's some value behind that, but to be frank, I didn't have a clear picture what exactly my company, my team, and I personally gained, and I don't want that to happen to you. So, before we even jump to the topic of how to get most of your learning experience, let's check the why component. You gotta know why you're doing what you're doing, right? Now, everyone knows learning is important. It helps you to grow, etc., all those kinds of cliche stuff. In terms of certification, it's a little different though. There are two factors, personal and organizational. This is how I call it. The personal is more obvious. A certificate is a proof of your skills on paper, right? And for anybody from outside, like headhunters, recruiters, potential employers, it's an indication for them of what kind of skill set you possess and what kind of value you bring to the table, right? So that means that basically you have something right away to confirm you're eligible for a job in a given field. Okay, the organization factor is going a step further. You see, most of the technology providers have their partnership programs directed towards service implementation, reselling companies, you name it. That kind of partnership gives a bunch of profits to the partner, like free of charge licenses, incentive programs, promotion campaigns, some kinds of expert approved status on the market. However, to get that kind of a partnership, an organization has to meet multiple requirements, and certain number of certificates in chosen field is mostly among them. And that's definitely a case for Microsoft. And every single certificate counts. Another organizational aspect of certificates is similar to the personal one, but on a different level, team level. It's very common that during the sales process, the implementation team is presented to the potential customer. And a number and names of certificates combined within this team is one of the ways to show off your cool company and to show that, quote unquote, your project will be handled properly. Also, organizations tend to measure the performance of employees, managers, and whole teams. And one of the key measurements is number of certificates passed in a year or quarter. So, as you can see, it often goes to a quantity game. However, it has to make sense. Let's say there's a department and it's focused on security technology. CRM-related certificates won't be 100% justified. You get the idea, right? Now, the best case scenario is when these organizational and personal factors meet and becomes integral. And here's the point where getting certificates start to make sense. Now, coming back to my story, this how to implement ERP exam was definitely an example of getting a certificate just for numbers. Way beyond my level back then and missing the actual value I could bring with the stuff I've learned. So the point is to have a plan and understand all the steps you're gonna take. And to be frank, actually the certification providers are quite good with showcasing these steps these days. Now, of course, it's a matter of mapping what's given with what's useful for you. So, best case example. Looking at Microsoft's certification website, there's hundreds of these. And the first filter is certain technology, of course. And then there's a level and a specialization. And again, speaking for myself, what I've been doing for years was focusing exclusively on the ERP-related exams. However, if you're up to date with previous episode, you know that ERP is not a single island. These days it's different, and it shines when the cloud technology is leveraged. And in Microsoft's case, is Azure and Dataverse / Power Platform. And this opens up doors to a significant new exams to pass. Not mentioning AI, which is pushed to every single solution. Software is getting more and more integrated, and this requires a higher level of flexibility from professionals. My point is, it's worth considering stepping a bit outside from the one's core specialization and learn something new. Still connected to the main game, however broadening the perspective. And that's a pure win-win in terms of individual and organizational goals. Plus, the good thing is that the basic level exams are not that tough, while the training materials are well made and give a proper hands-on experience. So crucial to really understand any matter. Which brings me to another point. How to learn and prep for a certification exam. Now, I can't stress this enough. Any hands-on lab or click-through is so much better than reading documentation only. And again, at least I can speak for myself. And boom, here's another story. Some time ago, I had a chance to take an exam out of my field, and I know that I would fail miserably if not for the labs. And again, praising Microsoft surprisingly, but they do quite a good job with the open environments where you can go through the exercise with instructions on the side panel. And of course, reading is important as well, but I don't think it's enough. And it definitely is not enough for me. Okay, now I can't forget to mention a bit controversial topic, meaning something called exam dumps. And these are basically contents taken out of the real exam, mostly in the form of PDF document that consists questions and answers with the correct ones highlighted. If you search the web, there's dozens of these and hundreds of pages where you can find these docs. There's a catch though. Most of times it's not for free. The prices start from around $90. Another thing is that nobody guarantees these docs to be up to date. And the exam providers often change the questions or add new stuff to the exam because the technology evolves, right? The third thing is there's no guarantee that the highlighted answers are correct, which means that you have to go through every single question and find the correct answer by yourself. And a bunch of the stuff you prepare for might not even pop up on the exam day. On the other hand, of course, I can't deny that these dumps might be very helpful for passing exams. And passing exams only. So if you go for quantity, not quality, it would be completely stupid not to even consider these. But again, let me tell you this little example. So years ago, back in the old days, I attempted the ERP finance consultant exam. And I had zero financial background, I had zero clue about accounting, and most of all, I didn't enjoy that financial part of ERP modules. And to be completely frank, I don't enjoy this area to this day. However, I took this exam in my junior years, got the questions and answers, spent a bunch of time validating the correct ones, took the test, and passed. I got the paper, but guess what I gained besides that? Nothing. It was just pure robotical learning for answers, not for understanding. And that was the last time I took such a road, and I don't even mention this certification, which, by the way, already expired years ago, because simply speaking, it was a lie. So yeah, don't make my mistakes. Of course, every individual situation is different. I'm not a judge here. Maybe you took all the labs, already failed 3 attempts, and you lose your job if you won't get that damn certificate. I'm here just to give you a perspective on different approaches, right? Okay, so we're getting to the end, and as a wrap-up, the most important thing is to have a clean understanding why you're upskilling. And if this why benefits you personally and the organization you work for, it's a golden ticket. Don't take guesses and plan your learning path, because nobody will do that for you. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining, and see you soon. Peace.